Secret Origins Podcast, Episode 9.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Secret Origins podcast. I am your host, DFJ and Mike, and joining me is Lupus Conroy. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'd just like to let everybody know, I don't know if the thunder and lightning is coming through the microphone. If it is, I'm very sorry. We're having storms here in Louisville, Kentucky right now. And yeah, I know we should unplug the computers and all that stuff, but we need to get this episode recorded. So anyway, if that comes through the microphone, hopefully it'll be big and ominous and, you know, since we are talking...
I like that.
Well,
big and ominous.
Yeah. Yeah. Since we are talking about 3 stories from Justice League today, we will be talking about A Better World, Eclipsed, and The Terror Beyond, and I guess... yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as me, I think this is the first podcast I've been able to record where I can actually report good news. Since the last time I reported on this, I thought I was going to be homeless. I've worked out the situation with Boys Haven as far as that goes, so I will not be homeless. I will still be able to stay in this exact same apartment. I'm not moving, and yeah, I will be getting my finances in order in the next couple of months, and yeah, I should be set to go. Unfortunately, I can't go to BotCon, and as much as I try to figure it out, there's no way I can go to TFCon. I was really planning on going. I may still order the non-attendee package, though. I don't know yet. It just depends on what June's finances are like. You said off air you don't have anything to report, and 2 weeks ago you said you would have something to report. Don't you have a certain fake Green Lantern toy?
Oh, nothing fake. Nothing fake. But I did
Worst
get the
Green Lantern ever.
Oh, ouch. Ouch. That's not true. There was Nort. Nort didn't do anything. He was just a dog. But yeah, I did manage to get the DC Direct Green Lantern Wave 2 Guy Gardner finally.
Oh, cool.
Yep, he looks pretty badass. He's a little miscolored, but I can look past that and grab a Sharpie. But yeah, he looks awesome. I'm glad I have him finally, and I'm waiting on something else that ties into that. But that's still on the boat.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'll actually, over the next 2 months, I'll be waiting on... And actually, I'm going to use Big Bad Toy Store's pile of loot for this, but... I will be waiting on a few pre-orders to get released finally. The crystal set of Optimus and Rodimus, regular Rodimus, and War for Cybertron, Optimus, and Soundwave. So I'm just going to do that in one big giant schlump as far as shipping goes. Yes, I used the word schlump. I don't even know if it is I don't even know if it is a word, but
it is now.
Yeah, it is now. Also, I want to bring up, you can go over to our UK affiliate. There are partners in podcasting crime, blogomatic3000.com. Phil Wheat does an excellent job with that. He gives regular weekly updates of what podcasts we have released over here at Geekcast Radio. He also does various articles about, it's just like every other geek news site, except it's done in the UK. Sometimes he has stories before Geek Tyrant does, and whatever else, but very, very cool. He did a really awesome... I think I might have already mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned it on this show, but I think I already mentioned this. He did a very good job on the Iron Man 2 review that he did. So yeah, head on over to blogomatic3000.com. Very cool. Anything else to report from your end?
My significant other did open processor surgery, and that's pretty much it with the computer. I did get a new microphone, so hopefully my audio quality will be a lot better. It's not so much cracking and breaking and loose wires anymore.
Well, that's always good.
As opposed to when we try to plug it in and it melts down Skype and the computer and everything else.
Oh boy. This episode is going to be a little bit different as far as the actual audio that you're going to hear from the clips that I get. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet. But I've grabbed a couple of commentary clips from Bruce, Tim, and the crew, and it's going to be mixed in somehow. I'm not exactly sure where or when it will be, but yeah, I just want to let everybody know this episode isn't going to be our normal 1, 2, 3, bam episode. So I think we are going to get into some episodes.
They couldn't see the beauty. No imagination. They'd rather fight.
Even this wasn't enough for you, was it? You had to have it all. Now we're on the brink of a war that could destroy the whole planet.
Could have been so perfect. Paradise.
And I let it get this far because of the law and the will of the people.
The people? This is all their fault. And they're going to burn for it. Burn!
You're nothing but a mad dog now, aren't you?
Ooh, a threat. But this old dog still has a few teeth.
There are at least 6 different ways I can stop you right now.
But they all involve deadly force, don't they? And you don't do that. No, you need me. You wouldn't be much of a hero without a villain. And you do love being a hero, don't you? The cheering children, the swooning women. You love it so much, it's made you my most reliable accomplice.
Accomplice? What do you...
You could have crushed me any time you wanted. And it wasn't the law or the will of the people that stopped you. It was your ego. Being a hero was too important to you. You're as much responsible for this as I am. So go ahead, fix it somehow, put me on trial, lock me up, but I'll beat it. And then we'll start the whole thing all over again.
I did love being a hero, but if this is where it leads, I'm done with it.
Thanks. Do you smell something?
Hera.
Well, it had to be done.
Are you okay?
I'm great.
A robot.
I built mine to take over for me when I had to be
Stan's
away.
laughing at one of his own jokes. Yeah, that's all of Superman's dialogue, the robot Superman's dialogue in this scene is kind of a self-spoof of our corny dialogue from Season 1. So almost everything the robot Superman says is a direct quote of something he had said in Season 1. Now this is an interesting scene, Batman versus Batman in the Batcave. This is one of my favorite sequences.
Did Kevin do the script in order, or did he do one Batman and then the other Batman? I don't remember.
I think he alternated. The voices are pretty much the same.
It's exactly
not,
the same.
Yeah, I mean, the characters aren't like, the evil Batman isn't really all that evil, so it really is the same guy.
I do my best work in the dark.
Now watch this. This is interesting. This is an idea I had, that whenever one of these guys is speaking, their back is to the camera or they're in the shadows, so you never quite know which one is talking. You have to really pay attention to the dialogue to tell, okay, is that Justice Lord Batman talking or is that our regular Batman talking? That's the only time you actually see somebody's mouth move.
But the fact is Batman talking to himself.
That was the idea. The idea was that it was psychological.
Right.
It was Batman arguing with himself.
Yeah.
So that's specifically why we did it that way.
Which, if you had him arguing with himself,
like sometimes you guys did in the Batman the Animated Series, it would have been corny, but this was a interesting way to do it.
Absolutely.
I actually like the heat of the argument. If you guys remember when we were plotting the thing out, we were arguing both sides of this with each other.
Oh, this whole season was one long argument.
Well, but specifically, wasn't that where we were literally playing good Batman and bad Batman, and somebody came up with Batman or Justice Lord Batman's argument,
right?
And I said, well, you know what, Batman, he has no answer to that. Justice Lord's Batman wins.
That. The line about it where a kid never has to lose a parent or something.
Yeah, we were kind of play acting it.
It just kind of came out in the conversation we were having back and forth.
And then we all stopped and we were like,
That's it. we realized, hey, you know what? That's our act break.
Yeah.
It's like, there's Batman. Well, that was the thing. We wanted to have Batman seemingly go over to Justice Lord's Batman's side,
right?
To trick him. And we figured that was the good way to, that's a very believable argument. It's credible that Batman would go over to his side by making that argument. So that worked out really well.
But good Batman had an answer to that and held it back.
This was also one of the first shows where we kind of changed our whole process where, the writers, Bruce and I, the story editors sat in a room and just hashed it all out. And all the things in the show kind of came about from our conversations. Because there was an original outline, and I think we just it's totally different from this. So, and I remember all the really cool bits in this came about from us having these round-robin conversations.
Brainstorming session.
Brainstorming things. It really shows.
And first off, we have A Better World Part 1, and we start off with, in an alternate dimension, the Justice League attacks the White House. Batman and Wonder Woman take on the Secret Service, clearing out a path for Superman to the Oval Office. Inside the Oval Office, President Lex Luthor frantically gathers up papers. Superman busts in, saying that he's taking Luthor in for crimes committed in office. Half-mad, Luthor rants that he's not to blame, the people are, for not being able to see or accept his grand design for the world. In rage, he prepares to press a button that will start a nuclear war, saying that people will burn for their mistake. But then he calms himself and waits to see what Superman will do. There is no way of stopping Luthor from pressing the button short of deadly force. Superman hesitates and Luthor mocks him, saying that Superman has been Luthor's greatest accomplice all along. He loves being the hero with all the glory so much that he continues to thwart Luthor time and again, rather than having the guts to end it once and for all. At that, Superman comes to a decision, saying that if this is the place that being a hero has led him to, he's done with it, and his eyes begin to glow red.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there.
Okay.
Because, wow, this is not our Justice League. You can tell this is nowhere near our Justice League by the time that happens.
Most definitely.
Continue.
Okay. Outside the Oval Office, a scream is heard, and Batman and Wonder Woman rush in to stop dead in their tracks to see that Superman has incinerated Luthor. Batman masters himself and coldly says it had to be done. Wonder Woman asks Superman if he's alright. Turning around, he reveals an unnerving grin to his face and says, "I'm great." Sometime later, Earth has become a very different world, now calling themselves the Justice Lords. Superman and his 5 remaining teammates are now the effective rulers of the planet. It is revealed that the catalyst for the League's rebellion was the death of the Flash, murdered as part of Luthor's schemes. Monitoring events from their new heavily armed watchtower, they have taken over governments and subverted free speech, all in the name of the people's safety. After denying the current U.S. president permission to hold an election to choose his successor, Hawkgirl and Green Lantern are sent to disperse a protest in Smallville. Batman has retreated to the Batcave, claiming to be busy with a project. The mere appearance of Lantern and Hawkgirl causes the protesters to disperse out of fear. Hawkgirl shows some doubts, wondering why they need to go to such lengths when the world has already become such a much safer place. Lantern says that they have to remain vigilant, and he's at ease with their actions. While Superman dines with Lois Lane, she too voices her misgivings about the Lord's fascist regime. Superman tells her that she's missing the bigger picture, but their conversation is interrupted by Batman, who calls an urgent meeting with him and the others. As Superman leaves, Lois tries to follow him out of the apartment, only to be stopped by guards at her door. She berates the soldiers, and by extension the people of Earth, for being indifferent about what's happened to their world. In the Batcave, Batman shows the other Lords an image of the Justice League battling Lex Luthor. What they are seeing, Batman explains, is a real-time event from an alternate reality, in which the Flash is still alive, and the League is still playing by its passive, law-enforcing role. Deciding that the alternate world needs their brand of law and order as much as their own, the Justice Lords decide to intervene. In the primary dimension, the Justice League continues to battle Luthor, who is ultimately beaten and sent back to prison. Shortly thereafter, the Lord's Jean emerges from a dimensional portal, saying that he has been sent from an alternate reality by an embattled League that needs the primary League's help. Although the League has some doubts, they decide to trust him. Once they have emerged into the alternate dimension, they are quickly incapacitated by a trap. Hawkgirl, however, refuses to go down without a fight, a fact noted by some pride by her Lord's counterpart, and is badly injured when Lantern has to knock her out. While Hawkgirl is taken in for medical attention, the other League members are locked in a specially designed cell block. The Lords, with the exception of Batman, then cross over to the primary dimension to impose order into the new world. It seems they arrive back just in time, for the rogue behemoth Doomsday is on the loose. The Lords each attack, but none is a match for the creature except for Superman. When it becomes clear that they are matched in strength and endurance, Superman ends the fight by lobotomizing Doomsday with his heat vision, much to the shock of the primary dimension's Lois Lane. Watching from his prison, Luthor realizes that they aren't the true Justice League. Your thoughts, sir?
I like his line at the end. It's not
them. If there's anyone that would know that, it would definitely be that Lex.
Oh yeah. Just going back to the beginning, again, like I said before, this whole first parter, like right before the, right as the Superman and Wonder Woman image fades out or pans out to reveal the White House, this is not the Justice League. I mean, it's
the one that we know.
Exactly. And it's funny, Bruce Timm even mentions in the commentary that it was either him or it might have been Stan Berkowitz, because Stan Berkowitz was on the commentary as well. They mentioned that there was supposedly going to be a Justice Lord's main title instead of a Justice League. It was an idea. It never came to fruition. But this is just like, wow. Let's see. The eyes, they burn! I like Hawkgirl's uniform, but not GL's or Jean's. The uniform choices were kind of strange for me. I don't know.
See, I gotta disagree. I liked Hawkgirl's uniform, but I really dug Martian Manhunter. That was just really awesome to me.
A dinner date? Really? Damn.
Well, you gotta, keep it up. You gotta have that little bit of decorum and romance, right? Maybe?
Yeah. So alternate GL and Hawkgirl, get it on. Talk about some more hot wing sex. Where's the barbecue sauce when you really need it?
Oh, God.
I swear, I'm going to make that joke throughout this entire show's lifespan, because that's just... I don't know. Wait, he wears that suit even when he's not being Superman? That's nuts.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I think it was when they oh no, it's when they go. It's when they flash from the Lord's dimension to our dimension. Alternate John hasn't come in yet, but I made a note of it. It's about time we get to the real heroes. And then she's gonna get violent on your ass, Luthor. Talk about breaking a leg. I so wish I had the Admiral Akbar line of "Eek!"
Well, you can't dub that in because Lucas will come after you.
Yeah. He's going to come after us for episode 100 of, or episode 75 of MWire, because it's nothing but Star Wars discussion. When they get electrocuted. Shocking, isn't it? Yikes, Doomsday. And of course
I didn't know he could talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he can't do it now, but I didn't know he was capable of talking at one point.
Did you notice the alternate John Jones is stunned by the yellow flame?
Yep.
That was a nice nod. In alternate universe, Superman gets tossed around like a rag doll. Oh, that was the yeah. No, I know what it was. It was the Doomsday fight. Remember when they first come in?
Yep.
Because Doomsday is badass in this. He just rakes his knuckles across where the gasoline was and it lights on fire.
That was really, really cool. I like that. That was like, ooh, okay, and he's intelligent enough to do that. Wow.
I don't know. Whenever I see glass shattering, I always have to make a Transformers reference. So my next note is, talk about a Doomsday reaction. Holy crap, that punch gave me shattered expectations.
Wah, wah, wah.
Regular Lois's reaction is priceless.
She's totally in shock.
You lobotomized him.
And he's like, yeah, so.
It's not them. Dun dun dun. Oh crap. That's all I got. What did you think?
Oh god, what do we got? So we see the beginning part where they're just trashing their way into the Oval Office through the White House, and I'm like, wow, now we're getting a real Superman. Holy crap, just he's shrugging everything off, the bullets, the laser pistols. He's just like, I'm not worried about this. Oh, grenades, huh? And this is what Superman is supposed to be. He's not supposed to be like fazed by these little bullets. Lex totally flipping out, but he makes some really great points.
Yeah.
Like, the whole Joker with Batman in the movies, you made me. I'm here because of you. I'm your antithesis because you stood out. And I think this is where we're getting to see some really, really, like, the major good writing, and where we're getting the really dark side that they're going towards.
Right. And I have to point out that the only reason why I would not rate this two-parter above, I would say above a 7, is because of the fact that at the time when they wrote this, sure that later on, like 2 or 3 years down the line, they got a whole lot of mileage out of this one episode. I mean, the second season of Justice League Unlimited, which actually I think it amounts to what is actually season 4 of Justice League as a whole, it's basically one long sequel to this story. But when they originally wrote this, they weren't planning ahead. It just kind of happened where they could draw back to this. But I mean, this story on its own, it's all over the place. If that continuity wasn't there.
Yeah, this is some really great writing. And
oh yeah,
you can definitely see this is where they hit their stride, and it's going to take off from here.
Yep. Well, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Okay, it may take a little bit. The fact that Diana's completely shocked, and then we see her talk to Clark or Kal-El or Supes, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
After seeing the Justice League Crisis of Two Earths, I was really expecting Brian Bloom's voice to come out of Superman at that point, rather than the normal voice actor.
Brian Bloom.
He was the one that played Ultraman.
Oh, okay.
So the crime syndicate version.
Right.
But why would Batman say it had to be done? Honestly, like, Superman is faster than a speeding bullet. He really couldn't just pick up Lex in a split second and pick him up and shuck him.
Well,
that button, or just destroy the entire desk with his heat vision. He had to kill Luthor.
Well, I would have to say that the only reason why it had to be done, or why Batman even said that, was because you read it in the synopsis. Luthor's actions Luthor basically killed the alternate universe Flash.
Right. If that hadn't happened, well, we know it would be different.
Exactly.
And then seeing Hawkgirl and Green Lantern, it was like, oh, love, I'm getting sick of it.
Barbecue sauce, anybody?
Barbecue sauce. Stop it. And what he did to Lois to put her basically in the Gilded Cage.
Yeah.
I can see why he would do it, because she is the type of person that would not back down and would not stop until she got the answers and started the revolts.
I like her line. I didn't write it down, but I said it when Dana Delaney said it after she's after the guard talked to her. She turned around and goes to close the door. She goes, "Sucker."
Yeah. Oh god, there are some a couple good quotes in here. Some things I can't do in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I really did like some of the vehicles that we saw in this one. The battering ram SWAT vehicle, where the entire left side of the vehicle is nothing but this huge battering ram.
Yeah.
And it didn't do anything to Superman, but so okay, we got the arguably morally ambiguous Superman, who just picks up, what was it, a bus or something, and just crushes it into Doomsday, not even checking to see if anyone was on the vehicle at the time.
But you got to understand, though, this is a more violent Superman, and he will do.
This is the one that, I mean, we're seeing the dichotomy through this, because he's not the one that would care about the people at this point. He's like, okay, it's acceptable collateral damage.
Yep.
And the moment where he just lobotomizes Doomsday, not even like, okay, lasers, bzz, okay, it's done. No, we see like the bone melting.
I mean, there is a scar there, and we also see steam coming from the... Oh, yeah.
And it is classic Lex for him to go, oh my god, it's not them, but not, oh my god, I better not piss off Superman or he's going to do that to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got. Shall we go on to the next part?
Yes.
Okay. So, part 2 starts off back in the Lord's reality. While the Lord's Batman acts as a goaler for the rest of the League, Batman and Flash both berate him for the extremes in which the Lords have gone. But the Lord's Batman rejoins that such a thing could just as easily have happened to them if they'd been pushed that far enough. For them, he admits, the push came from the Flash's death.
Okay, I gotta stop you really quick.
Okay.
People at the DCAU wiki, y'all need to run spell check, because that's supposed to say jailer, not goaler. This is not fucking hockey.
Goaler's another Old English term for jailer.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
I retyped mine into jailer because it didn't look right to me.
No, it's a very rarely used term at this point.
Wow. Okay, continue.
Okay, so the Lord's Batman tells them not to bother with trying to escape. He's thought of everything their Batman would, which is to say, everything. But Flash's heart rate becomes erratic and then stops altogether. The Lord's Batman rushes to the cell and opens it to see what's going on, before Flash knocks him across the room and emerges from his cell to free the others. Batman says he didn't know that the Flash could artificially manipulate his heart rate, while Flash confesses that he didn't either. Batman leads to his counterpart's Batcave to activate the dimensional portal, while the rest of the League heads off to find Hawkgirl. As he nears the portal device, Batman is confronted by his counterpart, who has anticipated his moves. The two stalk each other through the cave, all the while debating the ethics of what the Lords have done. Batman says that they have crossed the line by seizing power, and the Lord's Batman rejoins that, with that power, they've made a world where no other 8-year-old boys will lose their parents to violence as they did. At that, Batman drops his batarang, steps into the light, and declares, "You win." The League tracks Hawkgirl to Arkham Asylum, of all places, the only hospital equipped to hold metahuman patients. But the asylum is a far different place than the one from their reality. The staff are all former criminals, particularly from Batman's Rogues Gallery, all of whom are placid, docile zombies, apparently lobotomized by the Lord Superman. A very polite Joker is the superintendent, pretending to be the Lords. The League asks to be taken to Hawkgirl. Joker requests a password, which Jean gives by reading Joker's mind. Joker says they got it right, but apologetically triggers the alarm because Wonder Woman was supposed to say it. Robot versions of Lord Superman attack the League, but are easily defeated, and they break Hawkgirl out. Batman and the Lord Superman drive through Gotham City towards Arkham. When they stop at a red light, they see a restaurant where a customer is arguing with the manager about the amount of his bill, and in short order is arrested by the police for disturbing the peace. Batman needles his Lord counterpart, saying that Mom and Dad would love it here, and the Lord's Batman says tersely, "Just drive." By the time they reach Arkham, the military has been alerted and the League is barricaded inside. The Lord's Batman by this time has had a change of heart and tells the military to back off. As the League prepares to return to their reality to confront the Lords, Batman wonders openly what they will have to do. The Lords are their equals in power and intelligence, and they are willing to kill where the League isn't. Superman isn't willing to cross that line, but Batman says that some kind of line will have to be crossed if they mean to succeed. In the primary reality, the Lords have occupied the League's watchtower when they receive an alert of a prison breakout. Luthor has escaped. The Lords fly to the prison, but it is a trap set by the League. In the fight that follows, each League member fights his or her counterpart, and neither side is able to gain the upper hand. The exception is Lord Superman, whose own counterpart is mysteriously absent, and who ends up fighting Flash. Lord Superman is goaded so far that he's prepared to kill Flash to end the fight, but then Superman arrives with Luthor, who has perfected a power disruptor weapon. Luthor fires his weapon at each of the Lords, depriving them of their superpowers. He is tempted to turn the weapon on Superman, but remarks, "A deal is a deal," and hands it over. It is revealed that the League has secured a presidential pardon for Luthor in exchange for his help in defeating the Lords, who are taken away to prison. Lord Superman rages that everything Luthor does from now on will be on Superman's head, and Superman returns that he'll just have to deal with it. Luthor holds a press conference to field questions about what he'll be doing with his freedom. He says that the business world doesn't hold the same lure for him that it did before, but he couldn't rule out a new career in politics.
Dun dun dun!
Thoughts, sir?
Batman versus Batman, everything you'll ever think of.
Mm-hmm.
Flash uses his brain and his heart.
This is true.
Justice Lord's Batman's reaction to Flash, flatlining, that's just awesome. It does show some true shock and emotion.
That the Batman has a heart?
Yeah. The 91939 bit. Now, I think it's been since debunked, but I think at the time of this episode, someone online somewhere figured out it was the first appearance of Batman, but I could have sworn somebody said it happened earlier than September 1939.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I don't know. And then Batman's primary, real Batman's line, "But who could anticipate you?" Alternate Arkham. Joker, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, and Scarface are all in the Arkham scenes. Now, when I wrote that line down, I was originally going to add to it by saying, wait, wasn't there a bat embargo? Because I know a lot of the Batman villains weren't, I think after Wild Cards, which is the last appearance of the Joker in Justice League, I think it's after that the bat embargo went active, and they didn't use any more of his villains anymore. But I don't know. I'm not sure if that really, not sure when it actually happened. The Superman sentries, and this is where I'll bring up the fact that on the commentary, which the listeners have already heard it before we started doing the discussion for A Better World. Bruce Timm said basically because they made, Superman so stark and so, wimpy and everything else, all of the Superman robots dialogue is it's something Superman said in Season 1 of Justice League.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Bat versus Bat, round 2. Ding! Again, this is another commentary bit which I've already put into the episode. It played right before we started the discussion on this one. They actually go back and forth about how they were going to do this, and they actually talked about, if you watch that scene, neither of the Batmans, the camera doesn't ever focus on them together. Like when one's talking, you always see the other one's back. That way it was kind of like, I guess it was kind of like misdirection. That way you wouldn't know which one was talking. And I'm not sure if Kevin Conroy actually did the voices back to back, or if he did them
one run through with one character and one
through
with another.
Right. It would have been awesome if he did them back to back, just having a conversation with himself in the same voice. That would have been kind of cool. If we ever get to interview him, I will have to ask him that. If he remembers it, I don't know. Let's see.
You might say, that was the freakiest thing I've ever done. It gave me such a headache.
Yeah. I was trying to think of where my next note comes from, but it's when the Superman robot is taking our Superman's head into the wall. Dang, the Superman bots can hit hard. Because he just smashes his head into this, headbutting the wall there.
Never mind, the head ended up coming off a few seconds later.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks. No 8-year-old boy will ever lose his parents because of some punk with a gun.
That was really powerful, the way it was delivered, and I was waiting to see how long it was going to be before they brought up, the perfect world where, it never happened to him.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. The I am him line, I love that. I am him. And then my other, I just got a few more here. The other one was hesitation, and then GL just saying, do it, or no, was it, Superman said, do it, when it was RGL getting ready to knock out the alternate Hawk Girl. Because he hesitates for a moment.
It's not like they don't know.
Well, I know, but still.
I mean, it's not like Superman and everybody else doesn't know that they've got feelings for each other. So,
true, but it doesn't. In our own reality, it doesn't actually happen until Comfort and Joy and Wild Cards is when it really consummates.
Really comes to.
Yeah. Let's see. 2 Jeans, 6 arms.
Oh, dear God.
Tiaras are
horrible flash.
What'd you say?
I was thinking Sailor Moon.
Wait. What'd you say a second ago about the Flash?
I thought it was Sailor Moon. It's like, whoa, tiara rang.
Tiaras are weapons too, not just accessories.
She's an Amazon. Everything that she has is probably an accessory. I mean, can you imagine what she could do with those heels?
Oh, yeah, that's not something I want to imagine. And at the end, of course, it's so funny, our Batman taking Lord Superman away in cuffs. That was awesome. Oh, boy. And then Lex for Prez.
That bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me too, but again, if I hadn't already seen this cartoon before, it would really bother me more, but it doesn't because I know what happens.
What does bother me is way back when they were first doing it with the comics, I was reading DC, and I was like, "Oh God, I can't even imagine what's gonna happen with this." It's a really scary prospect.
Yeah, it really could be. I mean, have you seen Superman, Batman, Public Enemies?
Yes, I have.
That's a scary prospect. He's already president.
But the fact that he's gonna have a wild kiss with
God, don't bring that up. That's not an image I need in my head, and that is the completely wrong model for Amanda Waller. Oh my god.
I agree.
Oh, that's... Ugh. Okay, what other notes do you have for this one?
Okay, we got Bats versus Bats. It was a mind game that was just... We know how good he is against other people. It was amazing to see him against himself. Flash being pretty important, as he put it. Yeah, all the upgrades that went into the watchtower.
Yep.
All the weapons. And they're worried about, like, one little dinky, graviton cannon later on in the series. But if you look at it now,
Well, see, that's the thing, though, and I didn't notice this until I watched this episode back for this for our recording now. I never noticed after the Lords armored up the mini watchtower, because technically that's what this one is, because the other one, the new one, oh my god, it's huge. But, the watchtower now, I'm like, wait, I never saw a gun on the bottom of that thing before. What in the heck? I never noticed it until just watching this the other day to record for this, and I was like, oh wow, so that's where that came from.
Yep. Gross. Just the, oh my god, look at the Joker. Arkham Asylum, it's clean, it's white, it's pristine, everyone's just relaxing watching TV. Okay, so they pick up, and this is the nurse in me that's coming out, but even my other half was watching this with me, and he's like, that's not right. They pick up Hawkgirl. They literally pick her up off of the bed, and they walk out with her. Her nasal disappears, which is the thing that's going into her nose, obviously, and the EKG continues to run even though she's disconnected. Animation error is all hell, but it was like, does she have, like, Bluetooth, like, electrodes or something? What's going on? Evil Superman is just completely sadistic. What else? A power disruptor, really? They're going to let Lex come up with that? They're going to let Lex anywhere near that? That's kind of, really scary. GL.
Well, he does give it back, though, so I mean...
Doesn't mean he doesn't have it memorized.
It's true. He's a 12th level intellect.
Okay, so evil Wonder Woman. Does she know about her, the Justice Lord's Wonder Woman, rather? Does she know about her armor? Is that what gave her, like, an advantage over the standard, normal Diana?
I don't know.
Because we know our Diana doesn't learn about all its capabilities until later.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, did she have an advantage by knowing about her armor?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think what it boils down to is the alternate Wonder Woman is much like the alternate Superman, where pretty much all of them are ready to do, quote-unquote, whatever it takes, and literally take that to the nth degree, where, it's just one of those things where she will be more vicious. She will, she won't hold back, whereas the primary Wonder Woman, I don't think it's a thing of her knowing of her armor, because it just isn't. Well, first of all, she didn't use her lasso at all. I don't even think the alternate Wonder Woman had a lasso. I didn't even see it. If she does, I didn't notice it.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Okay, what else do I have? Okay, so this popped up. We've got Lex going for the presidency. We're seeing the lead up to it. It makes perfect sense because everyone knows he's a criminal already. And it made me think of this quote from Theodore Roosevelt, that when they do attendance at Congress, the congressmen don't know if they're supposed to say present or not guilty. It just made me think of that for some reason. And I think that's all I've got for this episode.
Overall, it was a really good episode, and one of the reasons why it makes it such a good episode is all the continuity they get out of it later on. Because it's like say you start watching Justice League, but you're watching like Justice League Unlimited, and you're like, well, wait, why is this like this, or why is that like that? You can then go back to this episode, a lot of it, and it stems from this.
I think this is definitely one of those two-parters that you can, if you're trying to get somebody into understanding that there's more to cartoons than just, ooh-ah Smurfs, sit them down and make them watch this, and make them have to deal with watching something that actually delves into ethics and reactions of how far people would go.
Yeah. Alright, well, we are going to move on.
Never. I know what you want, but you can't have it.
Have what?
My precious diamond. No, stay back. Its dark power can destroy the world.
Not anymore.
Hey, Princess, fire's out. Need a hand in here?
No, he's finished.
Whoa! That was a little harsh. Are you feeling all right?
I'm fine, but there's still so much to do.
Previously on Justice League. For fast energy, grab a Lightspeed booster bar with a big burst of flavor in every bite.
This is what these self-appointed guardians of humanity are really about. Cashing in on their image, shilling for whoever's got the deepest pockets.
No one's asking the other guys to do this sort of thing.
That's because they don't have me as their agent.
We believe that our new AFD anti-fusion device will enable us to completely neutralize enemy warheads at the point of detonation. Mankind's time will be forever eclipsed!
It's him.
No, stay back. Its dark power can destroy the world.
Up next is, oh Christ, help me, Eclipsed. Oh God. In an unnamed foreign country, an American special ops team is tracking an elusive criminal. Following his trail to what they believe is his hideout, they find themselves in cavernous ancient ruin. They notice the word cave inscribed on the wall, which one of them realizes is Latin for beware. At the end of the ruin is a large purple gemstone sitting on the pedestal. One of the soldiers reaches for it greedily, but then the bizarre figure jumps down, an old man who calls himself No Fear, dressed in ancient armor and wielding a sword. Despite his age, he is amazingly swift and agile. He yells at them not to touch the gem, but they manage to subdue him. Let's see. The first soldier, Burns, picks up the gem. A moment later, he begins humming an eerie tune and turns on the other soldiers and opens fire, causing the ruin to cave in. Burns walks out alone, carrying the gem and humming the same eerie tune. In Central City, Flash has gotten in trouble again. He is taken to doing product endorsements, drawing harsh criticism from talk show host Glorious Gordon Godfrey, who claims he and the entire Justice League are exploiting their roles as quote-unquote heroes for their own gain, and that they pose a much greater menace than any of the so-called villains they fight. Indignant, Flash makes a surprise appearance on the Godfrey show, but ends up humiliating himself and the League even further. Jon Stewart and Wonder Woman are likewise outraged, both by Godfrey's comments and Flash's irresponsible behavior. In the desert, Mofir emerges from the ruin, dons the boots of one of the knocked-out soldiers, and begins tracking Burns. Burns is picked up by a patrol who take him back to base. Once he has reached base, he draws his gun on the driver and demands to know about man's deadliest weapons. Scared and confused, the driver says that the best thing he can think of is a nuclear weapon which can kill thousands, maybe millions. Burns considers and says, it's a start. Doing this latest endorsement, Flash takes an exception to the corny script and the studio director. He rushes out of the studio in a huff, managing to collapse the set to avoid paying damages. Flash's venal agent, Artie, sells the footage of the snafu to Godfrey's talk show, providing further ammunition for Godfrey's accusations. On the base, the commanding officer, General McCormick, is preparing an exhibit, a new device, the AFD, designed to protect against nuclear attack by stopping the fusion inside a ballistic what? Inside a ballistic missile's atom bomb. In the middle of the test, Burns breaks through the barrier and around the exposed nuclear missiles. He is pursued and captured by the base authorities. A short time later, when Burns is being interrogated, he claims not to remember anything, including the fact that his squad was taken out by quote-unquote friendly fire. As General McCormick watches the interrogation, he is now shown holding the gem. He walks down the hall whistling the same eerie tune. Seeing the data on the AFD, he begins to reviewing it. Interested, he sees Godfrey's latest talk show, during which Godfrey rants that if they wanted to, the quote-unquote Just Us League...
Wait, that was taken from earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah, I know, but still.
It's not as cool when it's not one of the original seven.
I know. Could destroy the world. The general asks a nearby captain how to locate the League. The captain jokes, put on a gaudy costume, and threatened to hurt a lot of people. Flash confronts Artie, wanting to know how Godfrey got a hold of the embarrassing footage from the commercial shoot. Artie pretends ignorance. Their discussion is interrupted by an explosion from a nearby power plant. Flash joins Lantern and Wonder Woman in going to investigate. General McCormick stands atop a tower, ranting that mankind's time will be forever eclipsed. True enough, he has deemed the gaudy costume and face makeup that looks slightly absurd, but he is armed with the genuine weapons stolen from the base. And the explosion reveals that he has set fire to the flammable gas in the sewers. Lantern and Flash take care of the fire, while Wonder Woman flies to the power plant to confront the villain. She easily disarms him, and he tells her to stay back, saying she can't have his precious black diamond, which has the power to destroy the world. Undaunted, she seizes the diamond from his grip. Lantern and Flash arrive and find Wonder Woman about to drop McCormick from a high ledge. Surprised, they stop her and ask if she's alright. She says she is fine and walks out, humming the eerie tune. Dun dun dun. What do you got for this one?
Oh, God. So we get some insight into why people do these military jobs. They pay really well, and they actually do believe that they're saving people from things in the future. Okay, we got these skulls everywhere. Where did the rest of the bones go? Really? That's a crap load of skulls. Where's the rest of the body pieces? Flash has absolutely no taste. But okay, so the Mirror someone please correct me on this one, but isn't the Mirror Master American, and it's Captain Boomerang who's got the Aussie accent? Like Digger, doesn't he have the Aussie British accent? Cockney
yes.
Something?
Captain Boomerang is the Aussie, and Mirror Master is, I believe he's British. I think. Maybe.
I wasn't sure, but
I don't think he's American. I believe I don't think. No, he's not Australian. It's Captain Boomerang that's the Australian. We will find out. I'll be able to tell you more later when we get to. Oh, what is it? I think is it Flash and Substance in JLU? I don't know. There's some episode in JLU where Flash is getting an award and he has to go up against Mirror Master.
That episode.
Yeah, Mirror Master, Captain Boomerang, Mr. Captain Cold. I was going to say Mr. Blizzard. So yeah, I'll be able to tell you then, which will be a few episodes down the line here.
Let's see. we know why. I mean, we really do know why he has all these product placements. He's got that super metabolism. He has to be able to pay for all that food somehow. Let's see. Okay, so I don't know if anybody else is a huge comic geek, but Mofir kind of reminded me when he first showed up a lot of Gateway from Generation X. Just this really old, mysterious guy that's super athletic and all this other stuff. Diana's reaction to democracy. Didn't the Greeks invent that? She looked like she was going to kill somebody. Amazon negotiations. She beats the crap out of Eclipso. Eclipso in the gaudy costume, and Diamonds. Really, Diamonds aren't a girl's best friend in this case. I really think that when we're getting this character, it's like, okay, Eclipso's been one of those big bad guys sometime in the past. We've got to throw him in somehow.
Yeah, it is an homage to. I don't know what it is an homage to, but I mean it is an homage to a comic book villain.
Oh no, Eclipso was the comic book villain.
Right. Yeah.
But he used to switch from like superhero body to superhero body, and But yeah, it was one of those. Okay, I'm watching this, and this they really could have done something better than Eclipso.
Mm.
So what do you have, good sir?
Let's talk about Mofir. You know who Mofir is?
Who is it?
Bob the Goon.
Really?
Tracy Walter. Yep.
Wow.
Voiced Mofir, and Tracy Walter was also Bob the Goon in the 1989 Batman.
Okay.
We gotta talk about the Eclipsing Whistle tune. Oh my god, that is so fucking creepy.
It is getting creepy, yeah.
It is just so creepy. I mentioned it before, the quote-unquote, and you even said it doesn't sound right, but I like how they reuse the quote-unquote Just Us League, and they use it for bad and not good. That was kind of cool. I think right after that line is when I wrote down, I really don't like this storyline, and we're only in part 1. We haven't even got to part 2.
Worse.
Yeah. And honestly, this story would have gone a hell of a lot better if there was no Godfrey, if there was no Artie, if there was no director, if there was no Flash doing endorsements. Yeah. I only have 5 notes for this. My last one is, yikes, the look on Wonder Woman's face is creepy. And that's like at the very end when she has the crystal in her hand. We should talk about the crystal a little bit. They say it's a black diamond throughout the entire episode.
But it's purple.
It's purple. Maybe somebody's colorblind.
Maybe it's one of those, it's so dark of a purple that they consider it black.
Could be.
Like black roses are really kind of purple.
Yeah, could be. Alright, so should we get on to part 2?
Do we have to?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Do we have to? Part 2, shit happens. Later, folks. No.
We have to soldier on through it for our fans. And
if we can soldier on through that episode that shall not be named, we can soldier on through this shit.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so in part 2, McCormick comes around and is interrogated by the local police station. He claims not to remember what he did or why he is dressed in the bizarre outfit. He is equally confused to hear that the AFD is missing. He insists that it isn't a weapon, that it can only be used for defense against nuclear attack, unless you're going to go knock out a star. Wonder Woman is watching the interrogation from behind the mirror. Uh-oh. As she, Flash, and Lantern emerge to the street, Mofir appears and attacks. Wonder Woman beats him off with ease, but Mofir flashes her with light from a large ruby, and she falls unconscious. Mofir raises his sword for the kill, but Lantern's ring knocks him unconscious. While Lantern takes Diana to the Watchtower for medical treatment, Flash follows Mofir, who is taken to the local asylum in a straitjacket. Now I gotta wonder... Alright, now we all know the DCAU cities, Metropolis and Gotham City and everything else. It says he's taken to an asylum. Was it Arkham?
Weren't they in Central City? at the time?
Yeah, I think they were, so it wouldn't be Arkham. But still, every time I see Asylum, that's what
you think?
Yeah, because, the doctors dismiss him as a raving lunatic, but as Flash is leaving, he hears Mofir say, "Mankind's time forever eclipsed." Just as McCormick did, deciding to listen, Flash asks Mofir to explain himself. Thousands of years ago, prehistoric men fought a vicious war with the Ophidians. I can't believe I actually got that right. Humanoid snake-like creatures. As the war turned in man's favor, the Ophidians made a last-ditch attempt for victory. During a solar eclipse, they conducted a magic ritual that created a heart of darkness, imbuing with its souls of the last of their warriors. The eerie tune is in fact the incantation the sacrifice inferians chanted as their souls were taken. Anyone who touched the gem would be possessed by them, whose only goal was to wipe out the human race. Mofir is the last surviving member of a clan of ancient warriors that erected the temple around the heart and swore to guard it forever. Flash asks how the possessing spirits can be driven away. Mofir says 2 ways. First, with the light from my ruby, or second, by decapitating the possessed person. That's kind of like being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Mofir didn't have a problem with it, though. He seemed to like it.
Oh, no, he likes cutting people's heads off. Raina Bobbitt, you are not. Oh, come on. You didn't get that? No.
I did. I just didn't want to respond to it.
Alright, Flash returns to the Watchtower and fills Jean in. He says Diana has been acting strangely. Flash talks with Diana, who seems to be normal. He returns to the others, who say that they have just discovered a breach in their security. They review the security tapes and see Jean removing the AFD from the Javelin. Jean, confused, claims not to remember. Flash dashes off and returns with Mofir's gem, which he has brought with him. He flashes Jean, then Diana without effect. He flashes Superman, and then the gem is destroyed by a blast from Lantern, who is shown holding the diamond. He attacks with the ring's powers. They manage to overpower him and knock him unconscious. The diamond falls from his hand. Flash warns the other not to touch it before the others can react. Hawk Girl raises her mace and smashes it to shards. This turns out to be a bad move. The fragments fly through the air and stick to every other League member except Flash, the only one fast enough to evade them. Now he is the only one of them not possessed. He runs with the others in pursuit. Okay, I gotta stop. I'm sorry. There's something severely fucking wrong with this. I know Flash is the fastest man alive.
But how did the little crystals attach themselves to Superman?
What is Superman? Fucking chop liver? He does have super speed. I mean, come on.
Well, never mind that it's super speed, but his near invulnerability. How did it pierce his skin? Same with Diana.
God. All right.
And how did it get through Green Lantern's personal body shield?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know they were going for plot, and normal conventions of superhero invulnerability, I guess, be damned. But still, it still makes no fucking sense. While he hides, he watches as the others activate the AFD, and Lantern sends it hurling towards the sun. When it hits the fusion and the surface of the star begins to stop, and the dark stain begins to... Ooh, somebody spilled some Kool-Aid on it. Begins to spread on the surface. As the sun eclipses, people on Earth scream in panic, and Mofir laments that he has failed. Flash runs to a communications terminal and tries to phone Batman, but Superman catches up with him and destroys the phone. Then severely injures Flash with his heat vision. Oh, wow. That was messed up. That really was. He runs to the Javelin Bay, but finds the controls already smashed. Flash limps to an engineering bay where the others converge on him, all humming the chant. Flash waits until they are close enough. Then he throws a switch and opens the cover on a huge 700-kilowatt searchlight, blinding the others with light that drives the spirits out and the shards of the diamond off their skin. They recover from the possession, but as Flash says, we have a situation. After a quick analysis, John concludes that the only way to reverse the damage to the sun is to create a wormhole near the stain that will drain away the anti-fusion matter. The Javelin is equipped with a wormhole generator, but it requires near light speed velocity to trigger it, and the Javelin itself is too damaged to use in time. Lantern comes up with a radical plan. He will take Flash into space near the sun and use his ring to hurl Flash toward it, while Flash runs out on a makeshift ramp. Their combined speeds may trigger the generator at the precise necessary moment to open the wormhole. Flash makes one of his fastest runs to date and hurls the generator at the stain. To everyone's surprise, it works. The wormhole opens and the stain is leached away, restoring the sun to life. On Earth, people cheer and Mofir smiles. Flash awakens in the Watchtower's sickbay, weak and dizzy. Everyone congratulates him. The Justice League is honored at a public ceremony for saving the world again. Godfrey's sponsors drop him, and his show is moved to an early morning time slot on public access channel. Art calls Flash to tell him his sponsors are eager to sign him on again. A little embarrassed, Flash declines to do any more endorsements, but recommends a sterling replacement. Mofir. Oh, God, thank God this is over. Oh, damn it. What did you think?
Okay. I want to see Godfrey go against Darkseid.
You want to what?
Darkseid. I want to see him go against Darkseid.
Oh, good Lord.
You know, he bitches and complains about how bad and horrible these Supermen are. Apparently you saw the last episode. So, let him deal with Darkseid next time he shows up. Just, problem solved. Flash is the guy that listens to everyone. He sits there and we see in a later episode he's the one that helps Trickster and, you know, oh, you've been off your meds again, haven't you? He actually is sitting there and trying to figure out what's wrong with the person and giving the person the benefit of the doubt, in the case of Mofir. Let's hear it for a ritualistic mass suicide. Bring on the Kool-Aid. Let's see. So Eclipso can suddenly just use Green Lantern's ring without any training whatsoever. None whatsoever. But he, you know, the Green Lantern can't use it unless he goes through rigorous training in prior episodes.
Well, now wait a minute here. We've seen before, whether it be, have we seen before whether it be Jean or somebody else take control of a ring and yeah, no, Amazo. In, Tabula Rasa. You know, we saw Amazo copy the power, and he uses it very well. He doesn't need any training whatsoever. And I would argue that Eclipso or the Snake People or whatever the hell you want to call them, I would assume that, you know, they know too. I don't
know. Okay, so they got this metallic device. It's going to open up a wormhole. They're going to throw it into the sun. It's all going to be good. Isn't it going to melt before it gets there?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I'm going to throw this and launch it into the sun. It'll save everything. It's going to melt before it even gets halfway there.
Yeah. There are no, at least to my knowledge, at least from... And I'm not a big science nerd or, you know, space nerd or any, you know, elemental nerd, but as far as I know, and they pointed it, I'll give credit where credit's due, they pointed out on World's Finest Podcast, and when they did this, talked about this episode, there are no metals currently on Earth that can survive being hurled into the sun. Well, like you said, it would burn up way before it gets there.
It's made of red matter.
Yeah, always watch out for the red matter, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see what else. Okay, so they turn on that huge spotlight. Whose retinas are still intact? Really?
First of all, why the hell do they have a giant fucking spotlight? And it's funny. The thing, it says high voltage. Why the hell do they have a need for a high voltage spotlight inside the Watchtower? I could see if maybe it was, like, outside of the Watchtower to, like, look down on Earth. But, yeah, why?
If someone really needs a nightlight?
Yeah, I don't know.
When they got... Oh, okay, it's to get rid of the shade.
Huh?
In case it comes to shade, in case he ever comes back to the Watchtower again. From season 1.
Okay. I guess.
It's all shadow powers.
Yeah, I know, but that still doesn't... I don't know. I guess. Go ahead.
Okay, so we also get a lesson in particle physics from Hawkgirl.
Yeah.
How fast can the Flash run? We're seeing him progress more and more, constantly pushing that. I guess that's the only thing he really can do, considering his power, where his powers are coming from. But and how can he do that run when he just got, cauterized laser damage to his legs?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even with that advanced, metabolism, how is he able to heal a cauterized wound that quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, another question is, where's this anti-fusion matter going? They're opening up this wormhole. Where's it going to? Probably going to, Mofir's cave or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then let's see, Flash always a flirt all the way to the end. And then this Godrich guy, it makes me think of somebody else that's in talk radio, that his first name starts with a G, but I'm not going to say anything. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for the wiki to load because I want to look something up. I think one of my first notes was, hold it, Grandpa! I can't believe you didn't. I mean, you mentioned the fact of how can the snake people use the lantern ring, but I can't believe that you didn't bring up the snake biting construct.
Oh yeah,
so cool. Let's see. All right. What about the let's see, season 2 Eclipsed? Okay. All right. The one-time hot girl using her mace proves a horrid reaction.
Yep.
I love how I don't remember where it was, but Flash pulled a Superman spin move into the ground.
Oh, when he was trying to escape everyone, he just kind of drills down.
Yeah, in the watchtower. That's right, the drill down. Yeah, that's right. Wait a damn minute. Flash jumped off the green track and threw the thing, after which it shows Lantern not using the ring, then it shows Flash green covered floating in space. What the fuck?
I don't know.
That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay. Mofir does hemorrhoid ads.
I know. Well, I guess, no. It fits for him.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? What is? I know two of them. I don't know the other one. But there was 3 things he said. He's like, the pain, the itching, the burning. Or I can't. I've got.
When I need it really fast.
Yeah. I'm looking at the wiki here. You know who voiced Artie, the agent?
God, no.
Brian Doyle Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother. Yep. Let's see. And oh yeah. Where did the Sarge show up? Because I don't remember. Was it in the interrogation?
The first interrogation.
Oh no! It's where what's his name? McCormick with the Eclipso inside of him, where he's getting the data on the AFD, the Sarge. We have a Transformers reference.
Really?
The Sarge was voiced none other by wow, I almost screwed that up. The Sarge was voiced by none other than Ian James Corlett, voice of Cheetor.
Wow.
I always like bringing Transformers reference with my superheroes. Yeah, overall, this episode, oh god, no. Just no.
It really was a case of them throwing in an old character just to get him out there. I think. They could have done so much more with this.
Honestly, that they could have just made this a one-part story. They could have filled all the action in the second part and put it into the first part, and we would have been none the wiser. This has got to be one of the dumbest stories in season 2.
Well, I don't think they need to even do one.
just don't.
Not to be mean, just wasn't needed.
Yeah, no, it wasn't needed at all. So we are going to be moving on.
I warn you both again. Once the spell has begun, I cannot stop.
And the pain will be unbearable. You've told us before. Get on with it. Stupid magician. Grundy not care about pain. Grundy wants his reward.
Very well. The elements are gathered in a place of power. A wizard of great knowledge. The Trident of Poseidon. And the forbearance of a dead man. Wabi skill and fire flame. The walls between the worlds have been torn asunder. Arslan and Isawele Baskafan, I order them now sealed. By the power of the Titans which resides in their trident. By the power of the Lords of Order which resides in everything. By the power of fate which resides in the helmet of Naboo. Popone de Buenan, Wikingendan. Banish the old ones and seal the breach. Warbion! So fate demands! 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 So fate demands!
Last up tonight we have The Terror Beyond Part 1. At the docks of an unnamed city, the army corners Solomon Grundy. He fights back with everything that he has, but the army has been prepared for him. However, Aquaman arrives, riding a sea serpent, and covers Grundy, promising to help him. Taken someplace, Aquaman offers Grundy gold if he helps him with something. They enter a room and are greeted by Inza, who summons Dr. Fate. Fate explains that he needs Grundy's help in a ritual they're about to perform, but they need to know how Solomon Grundy came to be. Grundy has no memories of his past life, so Fate performs a revelation spell to learn. Decades ago, Sirius Gold was a wanted gangster. However, a deal with the mobster associates turned sour, and they killed Gold. They cursed his body with a powerful gris, which took his soul and dumped his body into a swamp filled with mystical properties. The magical forces did not sit well together, and after several decades, Solomon Grundy was born, cursed with greed, unaware of what he wanted. The spell revealed the truth to both Fate and Grundy now remembers his past. Fate says that Grundy will be able to help, but Grundy no longer wants the gold for his help, he wants his soul back. Grundy offers to do whatever they want if they help him reclaim it, and Fate promises to do everything in his power. Back at the docks, Superman saves a soldier from being crushed by a tank. Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl show up and also offer their help, but after Aquaman's appearance, the commander isn't so eager on superheroes. Deciding to investigate, the Justice League heads to Atlantis. En route, they see a cruise ship being attacked by a massive sea creature of unknown species. The creature is able to harm Superman, but Hawkgirl manages to drive it off with her mace. See, it just proves how much of a wimp Superman is. Reaching Atlantis, the Leaguers are taken to Queen Mira. Hawkgirl skips pleasantries and demands to know what the sea creature was doing, where Aquaman is, and why the Atlantean Navy is on full alert, implying they may be preparing for a war on the surface world. Insulted at Hawkgirl's rudeness and mistrust of Aquaman, Mira says that he's with Dr. Fate and will speak to the League at his pleasure, ending the audience. On the Javelin 7, Superman and Wonder Woman criticize Hawkgirl's abruptness, but Hawkgirl points out that it got them a lead. This leads Superman to conclude that the sea creature was magical, as only that, red sun radiation and kryptonite can hurt him. Heading to Fate's home, they find no doors. Superman can't penetrate the walls, so Hawkgirl smashes it with her mace. Of course. They find the interior rather oddly designed. The Leaguers then come across Fate performing a spell in Grundy, using Aquaman's trident. The Leaguers try to stop it, but Inza throws up a force field. Hawkgirl's mace is able to pierce it, knocking out Inza, and the Leaguers are able to disrupt the ceremony. Fate and Aquaman tell them to leave, but Grundy simply attacks them. Fate sends Superman and Grundy to Egypt, while Wonder Woman and Aquaman are sent to Easter Island. Hawkgirl remains to fight Dr. Fate. In Egypt, Superman is able to overcome Grundy, while Aquaman defeats Wonder Woman. The victors take their defeated opponents back to Fate's home and engage each other, which Superman emerges victoriously. However, in the battle between Fate and Hawkgirl, she is able to use her mace to break through his magical attacks. Suddenly, she recognizes the runes on the floor as Thanagarian symbols and demands answers. Superman and Wonder Woman return with the unconscious Aquaman and Grundy, and Fate submits. They demand answers, but when fate says there is no time, Hawkgirl advises them to make time. Suddenly, a tear in the empty space within the room opens, revealing a massive, hideous, cephalopodal creature. As fate exclaims, "We were trying to prevent that." Your thoughts, good sir?
Oh boy, I like the line. As we were trying to prevent that. I like that explanation or exclamation. Excuse me. It's funny. I was looking up on the wiki for this episode, and it says in the trivia that the Aquaman's line of "If you want to live, come with me" parallels the line spoken by the T-800 Arnold Schwarzenegger to the teenage John Connor in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This line, with the clauses reversed, was first said by Kyle Reese to Sarah Connor in the first installment, but it was not until the sequel that it became notorious. Now, it's funny that they put that in the trivia on the wiki, because my note for it is, why is it when I hear Aquaman say, "If you want to live, come with me," I heard Aladdin asking Jasmine if she trusts him?
I think you watch too many cartoons.
Oh, shut up. So do you. I think this is the first time that we've seen Dr. Fate in the DCAU since Superman the Animated Series episode, The Hand of Fate, which the wiki does confirm that I am correct in that. Wow, it's an enveloping world in the Fate home.
Yeah, no duh. It's like going into the TARDIS or something.
And so Fate demands. Stop making demands, you bastard. I love, it's not often, and we'll see it later a little bit, especially when we get to Starcrossed, but it's not often that Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl have good, banter back and forth, but Hawkgirl goes, "Just for the record, I didn't start this fight."
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah. I love that. When Aquaman drags Wonder Woman underwater, he evilly smiles at her. That is just creepy. What was... I have another... I know I've used this a lot in this episode, and I know you're sick of it, but one of my notes, I think it was when Cthulhu was talking to Hawkgirl. I don't know. Something set her wing on fire, and I made another note about barbecue hot wings. And then my last note was, what you've already said, we were trying to prevent that.
Let's see, what do I have? We finally learned why Grundy needs money.
Yep.
The curses effectively made him the Cookie Monster. Let's see, we get to see Arthur again. He's still a dick, but yay, we get to see him some more.
Hey, it's funny, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's funny, and again, we're doing Secret Origins Podcast as World's Finest Podcast is doing their stuff. They are currently out of Justice League. They're moving on to Teen Titans, which is not in DCAU continuity. But anyway, when they brought that up about Aquaman when they were doing their coverage on Enemy Below, they called him Arthur as well. And yes, I know that's what his name is, but I've always heard people call him Aquaman by his superhero name, and it kind of threw me off. But yeah, that's true. Go ahead. Sorry.
So we get to see Grundy kick some serious ass, so we know he is an actual threat.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time he's just that lummox that gets the crap beat out of him. Oh, hey, look, they hired Tank Megatron. the tanks in the beginning that just totally wailed.
Yeah.
Let's see, Dr. Fate really does know how to make an entrance, and his voice actor is awesome. Oded Fair.
Yeah.
That was just like, oh, sweet.
He actually, Oded Fair actually replaced, Where is it? Stupid note. Let's see. Oded Fur replaces George DeHilloyo, who was the voice of Dr. Fate in the Superman show. But go ahead.
Okay. Was it Superman being chafed by straddling the fence?
Yeah.
He's a farm boy. He knows how to straddle his fence.
Oh, God.
It's one of those things that you know how to do when you're a farm boy.
Oh, Lord.
Let's see. What else do I have? Magical tentacles, and I was like, Cthulhu! It's gotta be Cthulhu! Magical tentacles! Arkham! Yay! I think the best line out of this is definitely Diana going, Hera, give me strength, and Hawkgirl, without missing a beat, saying, do you always have to say that line?
Yeah.
How exactly do you X-ray water? How do you use X-ray vision through water? I don't understand how that would work.
Yeah.
Especially to that length and that density. Mira taking absolutely no shit from anyone.
Hey, she is royalty.
She's royalty, and Diana totally was like, you way overstepped the boundaries,
Yeah.
You went up beyond royal protocol. This is not cool.
I was bad cop. You're always bad cop.
Bad cop. Why play against type?
Yeah.
What else? As they walked into Dr. Fate's place, I'm glad every single one of them could fly. Because if they didn't step on the appropriate area, woo, down they go.
Oh, yeah. Well, so that's the other thing. What is it? Who is it? It's, where was it? Note. Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, and John Jones do not appear in this episode. Which, the only two that can't fly out of the 7 are Batman and Flash.
And the only one that could read everyone's minds to figure out what was going on wasn't there.
Yeah.
Which brings me to, superheroes are not so good at conversations. Not, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? No. Oh my god, we have to stop him.
Yeah.
It's a zombie. Really? Really? You're going to have some moral problems with them torturing a zombie with no soul?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so, Hawkgirl. Oh my god, Thanagarian runes. Is she upset because there's some link to Thanagar? Or is she upset because there's something that could reveal what she really is? Dun dun dun! Yeah,
I like that line when she's flying around, fighting fate. She's like, Thanagarian ruins, and she finally lands and goes up to him. What do you know about Thanagar? Talk!
The magic mace does everything. It even makes julienne fries. Okay, so Aquaman and Wonder Woman, Arthur and Diana, they're duking it out. Is this warrior foreplay? I think so.
Just goes to show you, she ain't no virgin.
And seriously, Dr. Fate, you're going to take these people that are going to do massive amounts of damage, move them out of your home, put them to places that obviously are of major historical importance, and have ley lines. Really? You're going to do that? You're going to destroy these places of power? Wonderful. Way to go, Fate. You are right on top of that. Throw them in New Jersey or something. Throw them, in the desert away from the pyramids. Really? That's the first place you're going to think of to send them? Way to go, genius. Don't send the one girl that's got the mace that's demolished the outside of your house. No, keep her around to keep doing damage in the house. What is this guy thinking?
I don't know. Oh, wow. What else you got?
That's all I got for this one.
Alright. I'm just kind of looking through the wiki here to see if there's anything other interested by, This is just part 1, isn't it?
That is just part 1.
Wow. For a second there, I was going to end the show early and not even talk about part 2. Oh,
you really don't like this episode.
No, it's not that. I lost my train of thought. Alright, in part 2, Wait, weren't you doing this one?
Continue on, good sir.
I'll finish it, I guess. As the creature hovers above them, Dr. Fate tries to cast a spell to banish it away. The creature attacks, but Hawkgirl assists Fate, also speaking the incantation. Fate explains that his spell only bought them some time, and is curious to know how Hawkgirl knew the incantation. She explains that it is something like a prayer on Thanagar. Superman and Wonder Woman demand answers, and Fate conjures up an image while he and Aquaman explain. Thousands of years ago, Atlantis flooded above the waves. Ruled by sorcerer kings in the reign of King Poseidon, the ancient world come under attack by the Old Ones, extra-dimensional beings who were preparing the way for their master, Cthulhu. Poseidon drew upon the nearly all of Earth's ambient mystical energy to create the Trident, which destroyed the already present Old Ones and sealed Cthulhu's portal. However, it also caused Atlantis to sink beneath the waves. Now, I gotta say again, my Disney references are gonna come out here, because King Poseidon forming the Trident looks exactly like King Triton from Little Mermaid. Now the Old Ones are trying again. Fate was using Grundy and the Trident to cast a spell which would prevent Cthulhu from returning. Wonder Woman and Superman oppose this, calling it torture, but Hawkgirl says that it's more like a sacrifice. She explains that the ancient Thanagarians once worshipped Cthulhu, who gave the primitives culture. Grundy also insists on going through with the ceremony, but Superman and Wonder Woman refuse without another way. Hawkgirl says there is. Go to the Old One's world and kill Cthulhu. Through incredibly risky, Grundy wholly supports the idea, and Fate agrees that it might be a more effective solution. Aquaman refuses, however, saying that if they aren't going to cast a spell, he is to be returned to Atlantis. Fate sends him home and asks Inza to remain to help Fate find their way back. The Justice League, Fate, and Grundy head for Cthulhu's realm. In Atlantis, Aquaman appears in his throne room before Mira. The couple greet each other, and then Aquaman orders his war council to be summoned, and he realizes that he cannot hear the creatures of the sea, for they are gone. Outside the city, a tear opens, and the swarm of Old Ones head through. In the other realm, Superman and Wonder Woman are still shocked that anyone would worship Cthulhu. Hawkgirl explains that Cthulhu gave them agriculture, science, philosophy, and even the nth metal. However, after a time, they stopped worshipping Cthulhu. Suddenly, the group are attacked by shrieking monsters, but they are able to defeat them. They notice a large swarm heading for a fissure, and Superman and Wonder Woman head to slow them down. Near Atlantis, Aquaman leads the Atlantean Navy against the Old Ones. He calls for help from the sea creatures, and his call is answered. In the other realm, Hawkgirl, Fate, and Grundy find Cthulhu. He recognizes Hawkgirl as a Thanagarian, and decides to speak with her while ordering his minions to destroy Fate and Grundy. Hawkgirl is uninterested in talking to Cthulhu, revealing that what they paid for his favors, the souls of the ancient Thanagarians. Hearing that Cthulhu steals souls, Grundy becomes convinced that Cthulhu has his, and manages to force his way inside Cthulhu. Oh my god, that's messy. Oof. Let's see. Elsewhere, Superman and Wonder Woman are barely able to hold their own against the Old Ones. When they begin retreating, Aquaman arrives through the fissure, and the two Leaguers place an asteroid in the fissure, which Aquaman seals with the Trident. Meanwhile, Grundy has gone on a rampage within Cthulhu. Oh boy. Oof. Talk about your anatomy classes. Yikes. Damaging membranes and veins, injuring the monster, and allowing Hawkgirl to get free. Making his way to Cthulhu's brain, Grundy fights a creature that is guarding it, managing to destroy the beast, but he is mortally wounded. Hawkgirl races to his side, and he asks her to find his soul. Hawkgirl flies over Cthulhu's brain, but the beast is confident that she won't attack, saying he has faith in her. Hawkgirl agrees and throws her mace into the brain, killing Cthulhu. Heading to Grundy, she comforts him in his dying hour, saying that his soul is on the other side. The next morning, the Justice League, Dr. Fate, Inza, and Aquaman hold a funeral for Solomon Grundy. Hawkgirl doesn't understand why Solomon Grundy was so calm at the end, but Aquaman attributes it to fate. Not fate, faith. Sorry.
Going from one character to a concept.
Yes, exactly. So, thoughts?
Wow. Okay, so this is Cthulhu. I love Cthulhu.
Yeah.
The Thanagarian prayers. Okay. Cthulhu. Is he the fishy Cthulhu? Extremely primitive culture, and no one cares about Grundy's wishes. He's just a slab of meat, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, so other monsters that we see a Yagol. Yeah, I can't even say this because this is H.P. Lovecraft. Yagolanak, which is the creatures with the screaming little mouths in their hands, no heads, huge bodies. We know now why Atlantis stays viable, because of the magic. Let's see, we do see that dynamic growing through this episode of Grundy and Hot Girl. Hot Girl smash!
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Let's see, we find out a lot more about Thanagar. That they're very warlike. You know, this is where the basis of their cultures come from. Mm-hmm. So what does that say about them now? Foreboding for the future. So he can't hear them, but he can make an army appear. Go figure.
Well, now wait a minute. His army that actually kind of, well, it doesn't really tie into one of my notes, but his army is the army of Atlantean soldiers. It's not the sea creatures. So he had already mentioned that he was going to get his war council together. I don't know. I guess.
What else? The quote, "My hands are tied."
Yeah, nothing to say. I've got a gesture for you, but my hands are tied.
My hands are tied. Grundy going completely apeshit inside the monster.
Yeah.
How exactly do you poison a zombie?
I don't know.
Honestly, the high point of this was definitely Grundy's death.
Oh, yeah.
The tombstone was very, very apropos. The start of the whole Solomon Grundy poem.
Mm-hmm.
And the atheist and the priestess are walking through a hall having a theological discussion. Through a hell having a theological discussion.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Alright. I should point out, I'm just looking at the wiki here still. The team of Aquaman, Dr. Fate, and Solomon Grundy parallel the Defenders, a Marvel comic superhero team. The DCAU team, as I said, is Aquaman, Dr. Fate, Inza, and Solomon Grundy, which the Defenders team was Namor for Aquaman, Doctor Strange for Dr. Fate, Clea for Inza, and the Hulk for Grundy. And I gotta say, I really thought, the first time I ever saw Grundy, I'm like, wait, isn't that just the
Hulk?
That's just a gray Hulk. Let me see here. Where's the other list here? Do you know who voiced Cthulhu?
No, who was it?
Whoa, Rob Zombie voiced Cthulhu.
No shit, really?
Yeah, Rob Zombie.
That's appropriate.
You already mentioned about the Thanagarian backstory. The Hot Girl Smash. My other note about the army thing. Okay, so I get that the Trident can hurt these creatures, but what the fuck is the Atlantean battle cruisers gonna do? They're not magical as far as I can tell. They have actual weapons.
They're gonna make it look squiddish. They won't attack us. We look like squids. Just like their master.
Yes. And Grundy turns from a villain to a good guy, and he becomes a redeemable character. I mean, he doesn't... Not that there's a whole lot of depth to Solomon Grundy, but before this, he was always a villain.
Well, was he really a villain, or was he just somebody that was a rogue? Because he was in it for the money.
Yeah, well, he was in the Injustice gang, so, I mean, they were villains. I mean, he's not like a big bad villain. I mean, he's no Brainiac, he's no Luthor, he's no Darkseid, but he's still on the bad side. And then I like you already mentioned it. You didn't say what it was, but you already mentioned the Solomon Grundy Born on a Monday. I like that. That's cool. What else do we have to say about this final episode today? Anything?
I thought it was really cool, but that's because I'm a Lovecraft geek.
Yeah,
just to see that monster thrown in there, I'm like, I know that thing. That thing killed me several times in the role-playing game. Bastard.
Oh boy. Alright. Yeah, overall, this one was better than Eclipse. We have 2 good episodes this week, and we have 1 bad one. A Better World and Terror Beyond are fairly okay. Well, Better World is good. Terror Beyond is okay, and Eclipsed is just horrible.
It's not quite as horrible as the one that shall not be named, but it's still definitely down.
Yeah, no, it's not as horrible as the one that shall not be named, but it's still horribly bad. Alright, so you are going to hear some more audio, and then we were going to come into the outro, and then we will leave you guys off, so we will be back after this.
I knew you'd come here. Just like I know you're going to do that. What are you hiding for? I do my best work in the dark. I used to think that too. But what have you ever accomplished from there? Aside from scaring a few punks half to death and putting a few more in jail. It all adds up. Not fast enough. If you really want to make a difference, if you want to change the system instead of just patching it, you can't be subtle. You've got to step into the sunlight. Take over, like we did. Think about it. A world where there's no crime, no victims, no pain, and no choice. Who elected you, anyway? Who elected you? The problem with democracy is, it doesn't keep you very safe. It has other virtues, but you seem to have forgotten them. I didn't forget. I just chose peace and security instead. You grabbed power, and with that power, we've made a world where no 8-year-old boy will ever lose his parents because of some punk with a gun.
This is quote number 1.
Sorry, Artie. The endorsement thing's really not working for me. But I know someone who might be looking for representation.
Mofir's job to preserve the world. So when Mofir need fast relief from cramping, burning, itching, Mofir always reach for Gluxitol.
This is quote number 2.
We'll go out the back.
You fooled him. Even I thought you were him.
I am him.
Well, that's it for us. This has been episode 9. As I said before, we've had 1 pretty good episode, we've had 1 okay episode, and we've had 1 just, holy fuck, let it die in a fire episode. So we go from good to holy fuck to okay. Let's see. Do we want to bring up anything else before we go into the outro?
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of increases in what we've got for story.
Oh, yes. Yes. Very much so. And I will be bringing that up once I get to that, like when I mention next week's episode. So, thank you for joining us here on the Secret Origins podcast. There are several ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each post. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter, Secret Origins. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
It's Caminiti style. CAMINITISTYLE. God, I need something shorter.
It's funny you mention that because, like, when I can't find a tweet on TweetDeck, just hit the reply button. I've got that memorized now in my head, so I don't need to, like, how the hell do you spell it? So
baseball fans would know how to spell it. But
yeah. Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. You can call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving a message for and your name. 502-526-5821. This episode will be coming out this coming Tuesday, the 25th of May. We actually need your help on the voicemail line and the calling features for Skype because those are paid services. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to actually pay for those. We are trying to raise $65. You can go over to geekcastradio.com. There's a donate button on the right-hand side of the main page, and please donate to us. You can stop by blogomatic3000.com for all your UK blogging needs. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Secret Origins podcast. I wish you will join us next time for a very large episode where we'll be reviewing 4 more stories of Justice League Season 2, those being Secret Society, Hereafter, Wild Cards, and Comfort and Joy. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Lupus Convoy.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.